Coming up in episode 72.
Even though those online tools are out there, like the reality is you have to have restraint, and I think and you have to like kind of have a good understanding of how it actually works. So I think if you know how to do it, like if you've done it before, like manually, like then you have a good starting point. But like I didn't have any knowledge. I never done it on paper, and so when I started doing it with these online systems, then it was kind of like. And I think that's what like messed me up. So now I'm like, I won't do my taxes. Like I'm gonna hire somebody to do my.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Little Radio Show. My name is Sandra Fernandez, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Juan, Alanis, and Anjelica Cazares, and we're bringing you small talk about big topics. This week, we go from the very serious talk about the fact that tax season starts to the very entertaining where we visit Club de Cuervos Season 2, a Netflix original, which ends up with a conversation on what we absolutely cannot live without on Netflix. Yes, we go there. Just a reminder that you can catch us every week on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Central Time on hmsnetradio.org. Our show archives and the link to our iTunes and Stitcher channels are available at thelittleradioshow.com. And as always, all the inspiration for today's content came in from HispanicHouston.com and JuanOfWords.com. And before we start, I need to add the obligatory disclaimer. All information that we provide on our show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult with a professional before making any decisions about your finances or law. Thank you. On to the show. All right. So it's time for the heavy topic. And the heavy topic for today, actually for the first time, I don't know in how long, is taxes. On January the 15th is...
I know.
On January the 15th marks the beginning of tax season. And in the United States. And what that means is that that's the day when W-2s start to go out. Most people will not start receiving W-2s until after the 15th. Actually, most people don't start receiving them until February the 1st. But tax season starts on the 15th. So
if you actually pay taxes.
He's not, dear IRS, this is not us endorsing people not to pay taxes. No,
but there are certain very high-ranking people who don't pay taxes.
They still have to file a tax return. So I don't know if you know this. To the listeners out there, I don't know if you know this, but one of the many, many jobs I had to work my way through college is I spent 3 tax seasons in college working as a tax preparer for H&R Block. So I literally learned to do taxes with paper and pencils. Go in and actually
So you're an expert.
No.
Because they change so much.
No, well,
right?
yes,
I mean,
they change from year to year. We had to go through all new training every year, and that was 20 years ago, quite honestly. What that gave me was a really good appreciation for how complicated the tax code in the United States is. It's amazingly complicated.
It's too complicated. Let's be honest. It's just it's like that It's like they hold that esfera, that ball, that ornament around you, and they go in circles really fast, and you're chasing it, and you get dizzy anyway, and so you just give it all up. You're like, here, just take it all. I have no deductions. Take it.
But now there are tools that you can use, like TurboTax and things like that you can buy that are like online based, or it'll help you do your taxes.
Absolutely.
But you have to have some sort of knowledge of at least basic tax stuff.
You do have to have a little bit of appreciation for what you can and can't do. Because even with some of the software will let you do stuff that maybe you're not supposed to be doing. Not because you're willfully doing things the wrong way, but maybe you don't know better and you read it, and it made sense to you like that.
Yeah, and because when it benefits you, it all makes sense to you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Even though those online tools are out there, like the reality is you have to have restraint, and I think and you have to like kind of have a good understanding of how it actually works. So I think if you know how to do it, like if you've done it before, like manually, like then you have a good starting point. But like I didn't have any knowledge. I never done it on paper. And so when I started doing it with these online systems, then it was kind of like, And I think that's what like messed me up. So now I'm like, I won't do my taxes. Like I'm gonna hire somebody to do my taxes.
Well, the thing is that we did understand it a little bit. Go to somebody that knows what they're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, let's just say that much. Pay the money. I kid you not. If you pay the $200-$300, it is worth it. And not to sit there and say to like go somebody and say that you did it and they make you sign off as if you like did your actual taxes. Like no. Go to a certified public accountant where they say that they did your taxes.
Because I know like the systems a lot of the systems will say like they have like all this like they'll back you up with all this money to like if you do get audited. But the reality is that there's only so much they can do. So, like, I mean, especially if you're dealing with somebody that's not even in front of you. So you're like, how can you help me? So, like, literally, it is better I think it's better to have somebody that you know face to face. And I'm like, okay, Sandra, I'm having issues with my tax return. I need you to help me. I'm gonna come over there in about an hour.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do recommend for everybody out there, whether you're in business on your own or others, is just seek the help. And I promise you, those $200-$300 that you're spending for somebody to do your taxes is worth it, as opposed to the $20-$40 you pay for a TurboTax.
But we just like went on a
out
of field.
No, this is completely what I wanted to talk about. Is for people, remember to keep your receipts.
Mm-hmm.
At minimum, you have to keep your receipts. Just showing that you paid for something is, in many instances, not enough. You need to be able to show that it was a business expense.
Right.
And even if it was a business expense, doesn't mean it was an allowable business expense. Have a business account if at all possible. Make sure that you've got all your certificates in order, and licenses in order for whatever the municipality is.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't think that you're going to owe any money, you still have to file an income tax report. And those, unless they change the date, the normal date is April the 15th every year. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they change it depending on if that's on a weekend or whatever. If you're going to do an extension, you have to file the extension by April the 15th.
And the good thing is, if you file an extension, you actually get till October to file your taxes.
I want to say I think the first extension is August and the second one is October or something like that.
Yeah, like they give you a pretty long time to do.
Now, here's the thing, though.
That reminds me, we need to make an appointment. that totally. Thank you. Yeah, subject totally on point.
So, but the other thing is, the income tax report is not the first of the reports that is due. Honestly, W-2s are due beginning on January the 15th. So if you've got employees, you have to start issuing those.
Yeah.
I don't know about in other states, but in Texas, the sales tax return for those who are in businesses that receive and pay sales taxes, for example, web design, advertising, there are services that are sales taxable services that you've got to pull it. You've got to charge your clients sales taxes, and you've got to pay them to the state. Though that's due by the 20th or the 21st of January. And since I don't have that kind of a business anymore, I used to do freelancing in web design way back when. But I don't do that anymore. But yeah, that was always my first return of the year. So by the 20th, I had to have all of my estimates for how much money I made, how much of it was sales taxable, etc. Not the 15th of April, but the 20th of January, which was completely different.
And then you had to do the 15th of April
for the federal taxes. Yes.
The good thing is in Texas we don't have a state tax.
That is a good thing.
That is such a good thing. Like I'm so happy that we don't have one. But they don't have city taxes. But I mean, we do pay like property taxes and all those taxes.
Which reminds me.
But like,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just say like property taxes, the school district taxes, all the municipality taxes or whatever for the
water
taxes or whatever, and so it does it gets to be a lot at the end of the year because like everything comes in at the same time and it's kind of like okay.
Well, but being self-employed, being a small business owner, there are things that are different for you. So for example, this previous year I didn't need to do estimated taxes, but this year, the 2017, I am going to have to do that, or otherwise I will owe so much money to the IRS next year that they will actually give me penalties on top of it. Because if you owe too much taxes, they want their taxes during the year, not in one lump sum at the end of the year. So yes, not only this year I'm actually going to have to get a bookkeeper to work with me.
So you're going to have to estimate what your income might be for 2017?
So what normally happens is you do it in 4 installments. You estimate what your income is going to be for 2017, and you pay them in quarterly. You pay what your taxes would be in quarterly installments, and then you do the income tax report in 2018 for 2017. You take all of that as taxes that you paid in, and either you will owe them a little more or they will give you a little bit money back depending on what that is.
And that's because this was your first full year self-employed? Or
no, that's because this next year I've got so much income coming in that my expenses will not offset it. So
I don't know if is that a good problem to have?
Yes, the good news is that means that our business is doing very well. The bad news is I've got extra paperwork to do.
Well, this year for me was a hodgepodge of
everything.
Everything, because for the first part of the year I worked at a full-time place.
That was me last year.
Yeah, and then I went in on my own, and then so now I have all these I'm it's gonna be a mess. When I show up at my CPA's office, I'm just gonna show up with a big old folder of crap and be like, here, you make sense of this.
I don't want us to get into this too much.
Yeah, well, I want to for those who are in Houston or Harris County, I learned some great information. If you file your home where you pay property taxes, if you file it as a homestead, it's 20% discount, guys. I'm putting that out there for property taxes. Yeah, I'm putting that out there so people that you know.
That was the first thing I did.
Google homestead exemption for more information.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did when I bought my house, because my sister was like, go and get a homestead exemption. She's a realtor, so she was like, go.
So, before we delve any more into this, I just wanted to point out that, the 15th is coming up, which means that tax season is going to begin. Everybody might want to go ahead and start pulling together all of their paperwork. If you're self-employed like us, that means that you're going to wait until the 14th of April to file your taxes, which I do on a yearly basis. Thank you.
Oh my
but
goodness.
The reality is you should go ahead and start pulling all of your receipts together and all of your incomes, and yes, even in-kind income counts against you, and putting that together, because you actually do have to file a return with the government. And that's the PSA.
And I would just add, you have to, and you should make your appointment with your CPA early, because they're going to be really busy this season.
Yes, absolutely. So on a lighter note, however, now that we've talked taxes and bummed everybody out, I am going to ask you, Juan, have you watched season 2 of Club de Cuervos yet?
No, I don't have Netflix anymore.
You don't have Netflix yet?
I let it expire.
Okay, I'm
and
so
I've been
sorry.
And I'm telling Anjelica, because she's using her niece's Netflix, and I'm like,
don't say that out loud.
Oh, well, she's
well,
using...
they allow 4 screens, and so I happen to be one of them.
They're co-using whatever. And
whatever. He's mad.
Put it on the TV.
Netflix. Her niece lives with her.
Yeah, she does. She does actually live with us, and we use and so I have it on my phone. She has it on her phone. And I think the TV has it or something like that.
No, I don't think the TV.
Oh, the TV doesn't have it. I think Edgar's phone has it.
You need a Roku or something to connect Netflix.
So I'm going to connect it.
So you haven't seen Club de Cuervos yet?
I haven't seen it. I've seen the commercials for it.
Season 2.
No, I've seen the commercials for it because I was watching. Because I know, after they aired it on Netflix, they put it on Univision.
Really?
Then,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had it on Univision for a while, and then it just ended on Univision, and that was very smart marketing, because as soon as it finished, they were like, oh, now you can go to Netflix and catch season 2.
Well, Club de Cuervos, when season 1 came out, Juan and I just went on and on, I think for 2 or 3 of our episodes.
It was such a good show.
It was such a great show. It is a Netflix, it's original content produced for Netflix to help them, one, to target Hispanic audiences in the U.S., but also to target the burgeoning Latin American audiences that they've been expanding into. It is made in Mexico, I'm pretty sure. It is high caliber. Mm-hmm. The production value is phenomenal. But not only that, if you watch it, if you watch a telenovela, a Univision or Telemundo telenovela, and you watch Club de Cuervos,
night and day.
It's night and day, not just because of the production value, but because of the scripting. Because you can really tell that Club de Cuervos was written by Mexicans for Mexicans.
It's the story, the character development, all of that.
The slang and the vocabulary is
the mannerisms.
And the mannerisms. It's all very, very authentic. The Telemundo de Univision is still lower key, and it's done in such a way that the Spanish is understandable.
It's dumbed down.
Everybody. It's dumbed down a lot. And Club de Cuervos, they use all of these very modern terms, and there's stuff in there that I'm like, if it weren't for, I grew up speaking Spanish, but if it weren't for the subtitles, I might have had a little bit of trouble following everything that they were saying, and that says a lot.
But if you notice, when the Colombian novelas first started coming to the U.S., that was one of the things that was different about them, is that they had a lot of colloquialisms in them. You would listen to it, and then you'd be like, what? What are they talking about? And you have to think about it for a minute, or hear them say it again, and then you're like, oh, I get what they're saying now.
I understand.
So I think this is the same thing. Now it's very authentic to the Mexican culture.
But
does Netflix dump the entire season?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're how far are you in?
I've watched it. Oh my god, first weekend. I watched the entire season that first weekend. Are you kidding me?
No, she sent me a message and was like, "This is what I'm be doing in the weekend," and I was like, "Ugh." And that's when I went to her and I was like, "Let me enter the Netflix account."
Yeah, he did. He was like, "Give me the password," and I was like, "To what? I don't even have it."
Okay. So for the audience members, Club de Cuervos, as you can see, Juan and I were huge fans, but it's a show about this family that owns a soccer team in Mexico, and actually in a suburb of Mexico City. This city, it's a medium-sized city. It's blue collar. Basically, the only claim to fame that they have is that they have an award-winning top tier soccer team. And in the first episode of season 1, the owner dies. And so it is a free-for-all between his 2 adult children, his son and his daughter. He married a lot. So he has his first daughter from his first wife. His son is from his second wife. His current girlfriend, who is, younger than his daughter, I think, is pregnant. That kind of thing. And so there is a rivalry going on between the sister and the brother. And it is Mariana Treviño plays Isabel Iglesias, who is the sister. She's the firstborn. She's got a chip on her shoulder because her dad left her and her mom to have the boy. And this is Mexico.
And she's really good.
Yeah, these are comedic actors. So this is a dramedy kind of thing. It's a drama comedy. It's a very Luis Gerardo Mendez plays Chava Iglesias, and he's a comedian.
Oh, he's phenomenal in that role. Yeah.
His facial expressions, he's got really good comedic timing. He's the buffoon. He is the son who really has these big ideas, but never quite. He doesn't really have the follow through. He's been spoiled his entire life. They've cosseted him. He was never really expected to amount to much, but he's the son. So of course everybody goes for him as being the president of the soccer club, because
the
he's
idiot
a guy.
As the president?
Yes, actually, because he's a man and she's a woman, and this is Mexico, and Mexico is still very machista. Chauvinism rules completely.
Yeah.
And so in the first season, it's about how he actually tricks her out of being president of the soccer team, and then just runs it into the ground. Seriously. The rivalry between them is so funny, it's sad, because you can completely see all these other families in there.
And then this season is all about her, right?
She's
the leader.
This season is all about the fact in the second season she finally becomes president. She finally gets in charge of the soccer team. But the problem is he has made them miss. Not just they've become a second-tier soccer team now because of all the crap that he did. They owe all this money. They've got no money coming in. She's not taking an award-winning soccer team and making it better. She is trying to salvage the mess that her brother did. And then on top of that, he is sabotaging her at every turn. Because if she actually succeeds, that's going to show that he was at fault. And so he cannot let her succeed.
You know what show this reminds me of that I've been kind of getting my fix on in between? is have you seen the show Pitch?
Yes,
this kind of reminds me of that show, and I'm like that's one of my like the shows that I've been watching faithfully.
I love that show.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
It's so underappreciated. I love Ellie Larder in as her manager or her.
Oh yeah, she's really good.
She's a barracuda.
Emilia? Yeah.
Yes, she's a barracuda and just unapologetic, completely unapologetic about it. But that's a great show actually.
But is
it the girl that's supposed to be a baseball player? Is that when it? Oh, okay.
Pitch on Fox, and I haven't seen it get a lot of media, and that's unfortunate. It's really good because they do address a lot of this chauvinism issues in how there's a sex tape about her and suddenly she's all criminalized when there's a sex tape about the guys. They're like, oh well, that's too bad. She's just held to different standards because she's a girl. Literally that's what they call her. She's a girl.
There was just one episode that I got into when Juan was watching it, and that was it. I didn't necessarily get into it. But then again, I'm not too much I'm not too big on series because I'm not sure if y'all do this, but I binge.
Yeah. And
I hate it.
But
I try to stay away because I tend to binge a lot. So I haven't really got there haven't been a lot of good shows like that.
No.
By the sound of it, it looks like you're watching everything. The Food Network, you're on your body get on Club de Cuervos. You're about
he said he hasn't watched Club de Cuervos.
I haven't watched Club de Cuervos.
Just hold on.
But I have like a lot of I like to play stuff on the background a lot.
Yes.
So
you're like me. You're sitting at your computer. I've got 2 screens going. Or 3
I usually have like a little
screen,
one of the frames is like is like a TV show going and I'm not even watching, I'm just listening to it.
And so am I.
But there's certain times like if it's a really good show like this, like Club de Cuervos, like Pitch, like then I have to sit down and I actually have to watch it because I'm like I want to see what's going on.
It's distracting. I wouldn't have been able to work while watching Club de Cuervos because it's so much fun. So there's a lot of very adult topics in there. And so Luis Gerardo Mendez, who plays Chava Iglesias, he's absolutely, the very first episode starts with him having basically a drug and prostitute party for the guys work for him. And this is not what you would call family friendly viewing. This is an adult show. Antonio de la Vega, who plays Rafael, Isabel's husband, is a telenovela. He's a veteran of telenovelas. Very, very cute actor. One of my favorites. Came on El Señor de los Cielos amongst some other shows.
But see, that's what I like is that they bring in the actors who are typically in the cheesy novelas.
Yes.
And they give them a chance to really shine.
Yeah. And so Stephanie Cayo, who plays Mariluz, is actually a South American actress. She's a huge name in her country. I'm not sure if she's Colombian or Peruvian. It's something like that. But she actually plays a non-Mexican. Because you can hear it in her Spanish. She is not a Mexican. And so, for example, there's an abortion there's a discussion between the married couple and about her making a decision and why and some of the stress that it places on their marriage. And there's an abortion in the show. There's some funny stuff and there's some not so funny stuff.
More serious stuff.
Some more serious stuff. But it's very well done show. And so, if you have not seen Club de Cuervos, even if you're not, Spanish, you're not really fluent, they do have the subtitles on there unless you hate reading.
And you can follow up. But the thing is, let's I say kudos to Netflix because I feel like they're bringing really good programming, very original, a lot of original series that are really good, that are and especially in Latino entertainment. And I'm really excited because I know that they're working on a show with Kate del Castillo.
Yes.
That it's gonna be an original series, and I'm like, I can't wait for that to come out.
It's not just that they're doing original programming specifically for Hispanic audiences. They're actually doing original programming that's
in general
really, really good for multicultural audiences. Have you seen
Anjelica's on this show, The Queen, right? Or what is it? The British show?
Oh my God, The Queen is phenomenal.
Isn't it The Queen?
Is it called The Queen?
I don't know. It's about the royal.
It's about Queen Elizabeth.
Yes, it was about the one existing now. So I have been. It's okay. I went through the episode and there was a little bit of I don't know. It was kind of slow for me a little bit, and I'm not that I needed action packed, but I just there was a lot of I don't know.
I saw her watching one episode, and then I was watching it for a little bit, and then I was like, okay, I was starting to get hooked, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna watch anymore.
Well, but it's okay. It's slow. The Queen, it takes a while for you to get immersed, and then by the end of the season, you're like, crap, that was good.
No, yeah, you do, and I'm waiting for the next season, and I'm looking for the next season to come. Because even though I wasn't like happy to see it, but I'm like, God damn it, when's the next one coming? When are they? Is it 2 years? Damn it! But I wanted, speaking of Netflix series, I wanted to talk about, if it's okay with you, I wanted to talk about this new series called Haters Back Off.
Oh, I've seen.
Have you seen it?
I haven't heard that.
Okay.
Seen it yet.
So it's starting Colleen.
It's the girl YouTube.
Yeah, the YouTuber. Actually the one who started to fame on YouTube, who used to be who used to have a job at Disney playing like different roles of High School Musical or something, like at Disney. And then she started a YouTube channel and she impersonated this girl named Miranda. And it was this girl who had like lipstick all over her mouth and used to like, who thought she was more than what she actually was and like singing. Well, anyways, this whole YouTube channel transitioned into a Netflix series.
Wow.
And it is so funny. It is if I could compare it to something, it would be somewhat of like an Ace Ventura meets Superstar. That girl that puts her hands in their armpits. It's a marriage of that. It's a marriage of that, and it's completely hilarious. There's these moments where her and her uncle are like talking to each other, like, Miranda, you need to there's this thing called a daddy saddle. You want to use the daddy saddle? And she's like, yes, it's gonna make me happy. And the mom's like, these are the kinds of things that you guys don't need to be saying like in public. You got to stay away. And there's this one episode, it's so endearing and it's so lighthearted and it's easy to hear and watch. There's nothing heavy, nothing really emotional. You're just like, I don't know. So it's
there's the show. I mean, there's a lot of Netflix originals that I'm very fond of.
Yes.
They also have a lot of crap that was on their original list there. And so some of the stuff is on there and you're like, oh, but it hurts my eyes to watch.
I don't want to watch.
The good thing is that they're taking chances is what I admire. Like that they're taking chances, and I think like they're giving people chances, which is kind of cool, that they're actually like going a different route, that you're not like it doesn't have to be like the big production that you have to sell your season or whatever.
I'm happy about the things that are succeeding on their series. So Club de Cuervos is awesome. It's phenomenal. It's one of them. And
Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the New Black. This Haters Back Off, The Crown, and it's from everywhere, right? And it's from every direction. It's awesome.
As a science fiction, geek person, the thing that y'all probably haven't seen is the Marvel series that Netflix has done. They have 4 different series that have come out. It's everything from Jessica Jones, and there's which is of course my favorite. But they have 4 different series that have come out, and they've created what's called the Marvel universe in Netflix, and it's exceptional.
Oh, wow.
The newest one that they had, if you haven't seen it, and now I'm not going to remember because, I have old person brain now. I'm not going to remember what the name of the newest series is, but it's an African-American superhero, and most of the actors are African-American, and it is very much the Brooklyn, Bronx, the Harlem experience, the modern, with the villains and the superheroes being black. Rosario Dawson is the one character, the one actress that made it through, I think, all 4 of the shows because it's in the same universe.
Oh, wow.
So she actually plays in a larger role in this particular one. But they're so well nuanced and very well written and amazingly complicated for a Marvel show. And that's what I'm saying. Netflix is doing phenomenal things with multicultural audiences. Things that regular television, maybe they just don't have the capacity for it. Maybe, like you said, they're at the point where they're stuck being traditional. They're not taking these chances. I mean,
because look at what they've done. Like even with shows like Cristela or Border Town or Eva Longoria show, or like it's all these. like they're very. It's like it's a very boxed in kind of interpretation.
It's expected.
Like
things that happen are expected.
So we could go on and on forever, but we are actually out of time. What I'd like to do is I'd like to invite the 5 to 7 listeners we have out there to share with us if you are a Netflix viewer. Let us know what you absolutely adore that you think everybody out there should actually be watching and listening to or whatever, and we'll probably revisit Netflix on more than one occasion because we're huge fans. I'm assuming Juan's going to get another subscription soon, so we got that covered. And that's this week's show. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Little Radio Show. We invite you to check out our iTunes and our Stitcher channels and leave us a rating or a review. You can find the link to both channels at thelittleradioshow.com.